beautiful foxgloves. So foxgloves are typically woodland plants, and these particular ones in my garden are all self-seeded. They've wafted in, seeded into the soil, and have given me beautiful foxgloves. So on occasion, I do dig some of the seedlings out and I will move them to where I want them, but I don't do it that often. I like the plant to stay where they are and bloom. So foxgloves are typically woodland plants and like to be in shade or dappled shade, but in my garden, and I don't know why, they are mostly in sunny areas. When I take you to my shaded border, I absolutely have none there. So here's my shaded border. As you can see, no foxgloves at all. I'm going to rectify that this year, and I'm going to on purpose seed this area to see what happens. So foxgloves come in different shapes and sizes. So this one is really small, that one's a mid one, and then if I turn around here, got a really tall one, and at the back. So this is a typical seedling, this one. It probably seeded really early this season to get to this size, or the back end just before winter. However, when I look at one next to it, this one here, would have seeded last year to get to this size. So this one in particular is probably a biannual. So this one will probably flower next year, although it is pretty big and it has got quite a few leaves coming through, but I'm not sure whether it will give me a flower this year, but it will certainly last for next. So the really tall foxglove, so this one must be at least 4 foot. I typically stake them, and that's because they do flop over quite a bit sometimes. They're best placed at the back of a border, but I didn't move this one in time. I should have placed it probably next to that one at the back, somewhere maybe here. But I won't move it now because it has flowered, and to move a plant when it's flowered is not advisable. The foxgloves come in lots of colours and sizes. Now in my garden I only have this traditional colour, and that's because they are a native species, so they've come into the garden, seeded, and I literally leave them every year and they seed every year, so I have a regular plant coming year on year. However, this year I am going to seed some now, so the best time to seed the foxglove is between April and now, so March, April, May, June, depending on your particular zone. But for me, I think now is a good time to do it. They'll germinate really quickly, and then I'll be able to grow them throughout the summer and prepare them for their winter, and then they will give me flowers next year. So these are the seeds that I'm going to be sowing now. Foxy mixed, they are dwarf variety, a hardy perennial, and it says it grows up to 90 centimetres, so it's not very dwarf, but it's dwarf in comparison to the very tall ones that I have in the garden. So I'm hoping I will get a variety of colours for next summer. So if I were to sow these early in the year, so February to April indoors, I may have got flowers this particular summer. But I am sowing now so that I will get plants next summer. So I will overwinter them, they'll be nice and strong, and I will plant them out in the positions that I want them in. So this is the first time I'm actually sowing foxgloves. I've come into the shed now to sow the foxglove seeds. Over the last 6 to 7 days we've had sunshine and rain all week. It's been really hard to get out into the garden. The temperatures aren't great, but I've come into the shed to sow the foxglove seeds in these trays. I have normal multi-purpose compost. I'm going to fill them right up to the top, and then I'm going to water that soil and then lightly sprinkle the seeds on top. Okay, so I have filled the 2 small trays with multi-purpose compost. With my hands I just try and take out as much of the lumps and bumps within the soil. I gently then pat this soil down because when I then sprinkle the seeds, I'll be able to kind of see exactly where they are in case I've missed any areas within the tray. One recent purchase that I've made is one of these. They're like a pump action spray gun, and they're really good for light spraying. So do purchase one. I really love this item. So here we go. I have the seeds. The packet has come with a really useful label. Any of my regular viewers will know that I often write what I'm planting, and then it rubs off, it gets lost. I don't know, this time I'm determined to keep the label, although to be quite fair, I do know what the seedlings will look like, and that's just purely because I've had so many foxgloves in the garden for a number of years. So I'm going to open up the seed packet really carefully. I often just give it a little flick like that, just so the seeds go down to the bottom. I don't know how many approximate seeds there are. It says average of 1,000 seeds in this small little packet. Right, I'll just try really hard to lightly sprinkle all the seeds across here. Just make sure that it's nice and damp. The water would have been sucked up from below as well. I've put water in the tray, I've just given it a light spray, so it's really nice and damp. Now when I sprinkle all of the seeds, I will just put these probably somewhere warm in the garden, not in direct sunlight, just to get them off to a really good start. They could stay in these trays all through winter, but if they get to a really decent size in the autumn, I'll put them in individual cells, just so that it makes it really easy then in the springtime to kind of separate them all out and put them in the garden where I want them. Don't be tempted, like I usually am, to just literally put loads, because it really is counteractive. You get then loads of seedlings which you have to prick out. They just intermingle the roots, so it's really not worth it. It's rather best to see how you get on with the first set, and then if, for example, you feel like you haven't got that many, do another tray. So I've got enough seeds in here in this packet. If this doesn't work, or for whatever reason I haven't done enough in each tray, I can do a second lot. So the next question is, do you cover the seeds? The answer is no, you don't have to. Just give them a gentle pat what's important is that the seeds come into direct contact with the earth and that they are damp. So in the wild, they would slightly be on the soil, and over time it will slowly start to embed. So it's not a fussy seed, foxgloves, or certainly the wild foxgloves aren't fussy at all. But these, because they are different, these dwarf ones from the ones I have in the garden, I'll just see how I get on. Because as you know, this is my first time to do these foxglove seeds. Normally, as I said, I just literally let the current ones in the garden go wild. Wherever they want to seed, they seed, and then sometimes I will shake the foxglove pods around the garden just in case they haven't been able to do it themselves, but generally, of course, they're going to do it themselves. So I'll just pat this down. And then in a couple of weeks, when I am doing some garden tours, I will make sure to just stop and have a look so that you can see how they're getting on. Why not try this at the same time, and we can compare and contrast, and hopefully you will have success. Right, so I have put the label in the correct position. Hopefully it will stay there, and I have found one of these propagator type lids, which I'm going to just leave on here just to keep them a little bit warm while they're outside. I just want them to get started. On reading the seed packet, it does say you can, of course, cover them lightly with some soil. So I'm going to cover it lightly with some soil. I generally, any tiny seeds, I don't really cover them up. So I have an old kitchen sieve, and I will literally just cover it lightly. Not too much. Just make sure it's all the way around. I think that's best. Right, there we are. So we'll revisit this in the coming weeks just to see how they're getting on. Of course, when you're sowing seeds, never let them dry out. So do keep checking them every so often to make sure it's nice and moist. I will put this in my little lean-to greenhouse or shelving unit that I have outside the shed, and I think that will be warm enough and light enough to stimulate the germination of the foxglove. Okay, there they are on the top of the shelving unit. It should be nice and warm there, and we will check every so often on these little seedlings. I hope you've enjoyed the video today on the foxgloves. Do join me next time. Please don't forget to subscribe to support my channel. Take care now. Bye.